We all have different tastes in music, don't we? Driving home from church one Sunday, Father turned on his favorite radio station, a country and western station, and his 16-year-old son, who was also in the front seat, immediately began to complain, "Oh my God, what have you done? How can you stand that stuff?" He said to his father. "It's so sad. It's all about dogs and broken hearts and pickup trucks. How can you stand it?" "Well, son," the man said, "what's your music all about?" Knowing his son loved loud rock and roll. "Well, that's the beauty of it, Dad. You just don't know." Well, that's one approach to music, isn't it? That it can kind of create this mindless state. But there's a very different approach to understanding the purpose of music. Anne Lamott, the young American writer, recounts her experience in a little African-American church that she attends in California. This is the church that led her to conversion as an adult. She writes, "Of all the things I loved about that church, it was the singing that pulled me in and split me wide open. Has singing ever done that to you?" She continues, "The singing enveloped me. It was furry and resonant, coming from everyone's very heart. Something inside me that was stiff and rotting would suddenly feel soft and tender. Somehow the singing wore down all the boundaries and distinctions that kept me so isolated. Sitting there, standing with them to sing, sometimes so shaky and sick that I felt like I might just tip over. I felt bigger than myself, like I was being taken care of, tricked into coming back to life. But I had to leave before the sermon. One day, though," she writes, I went to church so hungover I couldn't stand up for the songs. And this time I stayed for the sermon, which I just thought was so ridiculous. But the last song, right before the sermon, was so deep and raw and pure, I couldn't escape. It was as if the people were singing in between the notes, weeping and joyful all at the same time. And I felt like their voices or something was rocking me in its bosom, holding me like a scared kid, and I opened up to that feeling and it washed over me." You see, music has enormous power. It has a profound effect on us, whether you understand the meaning of it or not. And our Old Testament lesson from Zephaniah really starts to touch on the power of singing. "Sing, O daughter of Zion. Shout aloud, O Israel. Be glad and rejoice with all your heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. The Lord, the King of Israel, is with you. Never again will you fear any harm." And so in one sense, this third Sunday of Advent is about singing. And in verse 17, the words really bring it home. "The Lord your God is with us. He is mighty to save. He will take delight in you. He will quiet you with his love. He will rejoice over you with singing." Now think about that. Our God takes such delight in us that he sings over us the way a mother might sing over her infant child. And this is a wonderfully sweet picture of God. And it's very tender, and I think it's what we all crave. Like going home to your mama knowing that there's at least one place in the world where you're loved no matter what you've done. We all want God to be ready and waiting for us the way our mama did. And that stands in such jarring contrast with today's gospel. And maybe it makes your head hurt. It makes my head hurt in some sense. That John the Baptist does not sound like God singing sweetly, does he? He sounds full of condemnation. He says to the crowd coming to be baptized, "You brood of vipers." And some of you know this is my favorite line in the New Testament. You snakes. That's what he's calling them. "Who warned you to flee from the wrath to come? Produce fruit in keeping with repentance." See, what John the Baptist and all the prophets are trying to do is get them reconciled to God so they can have that sweet relationship with God. so that they're not out of relationship. And there's a way to do that. And John the Baptist is telling us what that is. Bear the fruit worthy of repentance. When I was in college, I had a required course in philosophy. It was with one of my favorite professors, Dr. Joe Kupfer, and I think one of the reasons I liked Kupfer so much was, well, he's just a great guy. And he could play right field in softball like nobody's business, and if he threw home to the plate, it was on a clothesline, and I just never saw anybody with an arm like that teaching college. I thought, wow, I really want to be like that. And so I'm in Kupfer's senior seminar. I was required to attend. And it came my turn to make my presentation. And after my presentation, Kupfer followed me into the men's room and he said, Colby, you didn't do the job. I've been thinking about that for years, so I called him Friday and told him that really helped me. Thanks. He didn't know what I was talking about. But think about that for a minute. I was a senior. I had faithfully attended class. I had read my homework. I tried. But in the end, the professor saw that something needed to be spoken to because I didn't do the job.